If nothing else, starting this channel has taught me one thing. The Union actually lost the Civil War. Hear me out. General Sherman's War Order number 15 gave 20,000 escaped fugitive slaves and free men of color land of their own to cultivate. This land was taken from the slavers who started the war, confiscated that land, and gave an average of 50 acres per family that land. That is 100,000 acres of land and was one of the largest transfers of wealth to ever have occurred in the United States history. And it's the only one that was done for just causes and gave victims of atrocity the land and the means and the ability to raise themselves up and actually become prominent members of society. But what happened? A Confederate conspiracy that was going on throughout the entirety of the war enabled the fact that Lincoln would get assassinated, preventing these individuals from continuing to own that land. They propped up a vice president who was a known copperhead and a known supporter of the fucking Democrats, put him in office, who then went back and systematically dismantled anything good to ever have come from this war. Those individuals, those 20,000 men that were now given land of their own, it was stripped from them again. They were sent back out on the streets, and that land was given back to the slavers that started this war. There were zero consequences for any Confederate, anybody who promoted the war, any slaver that fought for the continuation of that institution. The feudal society that existed in the South, that antebellum South, the idea that the landowning class was the aristocracy, they were the nobles, and that maybe you poor white farmers could get yourself up to that level if you could only get enough money to own another human being. And we had those poor black souls that were the ones that were the slaves that were our peasant class. And after the war is over, yeah, we we end slavery-ish, but we allow it to continue to exist even to this day in our prison institutions. They allow them to start creating bullshit laws to arrest men of color for whatever reasons they want. A lot of it was for just fucking existing. They then go to prison where they're once again slaves. We enable segregation that happens after the post-Civil War era because we have Johnson who's in control of everything at the start. Not a single person is held accountable through that entire atrocity of the war, minus the one Captain Vers who was commanding the Andersonville. Other than that guy, nobody was held accountable. We even let traitor President Davis go, despite the fact of we could have had it. We could have had Reconstruction. We could have had it so our fellow man is working next to our other fellow man. Man and man, held in hand. Not an us against them. Not a white against brown. Not anything other than we are Americans trying to survive our own life. We could have torn down the feudal system, but instead now we have corporations that own everything, that own the means of production, that own our labor. They still treat us as essentially, not slavery, because that's offensive to the actual institution of slavery, but like at the end of the day, we're wage slavery. Then, yeah, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, Lieutenant Tommy's a dirty communist, so fine, sure, call me whatever you want. But at the end of the day, we had the perfect opportunity to come to amends, to make amends for all the atrocities that we did as a nation and fix that. But instead, we kept dividing the nation. We kept dividing it of us against them. We allowed that hate to spread. How many generations of hate continued to be spread? We allowed the daughters of the Confederacy to start putting up these bullshit memorials, to start creating this lie of what the war was actually fought over. It was fought because we wanted one group to subjugate another group, which is still going on to this very damn day. We've never fixed it. We've never grown. Yeah, sure, we're not segregated anymore. Yeah, sure, slavery's not legal on paper other than in prisons anymore. But at the end of the day, do you really feel equal to your fellow man? Do you really feel like you have a choice in this world? Did we really come out winning that war? No. We're all just in the same corporate oligarchy control that we've ever been in. There are the nobles and there are the peasants. Wake up, people. We lost that war.